Many years ago, somebody asked me if I was going to do a TV series, what would I like it to be? And I said I'd like it to be Cain, having killed his brother Abel, wandering through the wilderness to the east of Eden and running into things with a mark on him of some kind. It's the Bible, right? And the guy said, I'm talking about a commercial television series. I said, so am I. And then, kind of miraculously, because I can't say it was connected really. The people weren't connected, but what I had asked for came to me. And I think the name Cain is there because, you know, he's the murderer.
Yes.
It begins with him murdering the emperor's nephew.
Defending his teacher.
Well, he's not defending him because the teacher's already been killed. He's revenging him, which is one thing he was not supposed to do. He's violating his teaching by doing that. And sort of the rest of the series, he's trying to make up for that, for the fact that he violated his teaching and did something that was absolutely wrong.
Was that Kung Fu series, in a sense, Sacrificial Lamb? I've noticed that it moved all over the primetime schedule. It opened up on a Saturday night. The next year it was on Thursday night. You were against shows like...
Well, it's not really... Actually, it was on a Thursday night in the beginning. And then it began to move in the third year. And it wasn't exactly a sacrificial lamb. It was... they would put it in front of a show that was either in trouble or that was new, hoping that people would tune in to see Kung Fu and then stay to look at the other one. And they only actually started doing that after I told them that I was going to leave, because they knew that the show was going to die. And I had always thought I was going to leave after the third year. And they would never believe me. And then finally I made a big issue out of it halfway through the last season, and that's when they started moving it around.
They were already taking liberties with the character by then. Were they looking for a successor to Cain?
What do you mean?
You had a cousin entering the picture for the first time the last year. Or was it over?
Yeah, well, I was always looking for my brother. And we had a 5-parter in which I find my brother. And the first thing I find is my nephew, my brother's son. And he leads me to my brother. But no, I don't think they were looking for a successor. I think they knew the thing was a dead issue. And I don't think they had any idea how much of a thing they had a hold of either. You know, they didn't even bother to offer it into syndication for about 3 years. They just let it sit. Then they finally put a little ad in the Variety, I think. And suddenly it was being shown all over the world. But I really don't think anybody, even myself, had any idea how big a thing it was and how maybe eternal the things were. I would say Jerry Thorpe, who was the director-producer that hired me after seeing me in the play in New York.
Yes.
I'd say he knew. I don't know how he knew, but he knew to hire me. He knew it was going to work. He never had any doubts about it. And he would stand up to the network. They'd tell him they want to change it around somehow. And he'd say, well, you fire me then, because I'm not going to do it. And exhibited an enormous amount of courage. Hiring me was very courageous, because I was not very popular in the industry. And for all he knew, I was going to be a lot of trouble. And he wanted that. Actually, he wanted to hire somebody who wouldn't back down, because that's what the character needed. And if he hired somebody that was just, you know, somebody to get on his little motor scooter and go around to offices and part his hair just right, it wouldn't have worked. He needed somebody who was completely rebellious. That's what he got.